Hello, everyone. Welcome to Senior Skills, and on our second episode, ED or Not to Be. Today, I'm with.
My name is Hyun Jo, and I'm a senior at Singapore American School.
And so, Hyun, did you apply early decision anywhere?
So going into this, I applied early decision to Northwestern University last year. I think that going into the ED process, I was very hopeful and, to be quite honest, very confident about my result. And so I personally thought that I had a very good chance at this school. And my goal was to know where I was going to college by December. And so I think waiting till that decision date, till December 16th it definitely took a toll on me. And when I got my result back, it was even more stressful, I would say.
And then how was the actual day and then before and after you got the result?
I think the buildup was very stressful because everyone was talking about their early decisions. Most people did early to at least one school in the United States. And so people would talk about, who ED'd where, and people would get really nosy about it. And so was I. Opening that decision letter was very scary. It was the first college decision letter I've ever opened in my life, so that was a big deal. I opened it and saw that I got deferred into the RD pool, and I think the first thing I said was, oh my goodness, I need to do regular decision now. And for me, it was at the moment, I thought that Northwestern was the best school that I could ever get into, and so it gave me a lot of fear in thinking that I had no idea what school I was going to end up in now. And so I started to scramble and start writing my RD essays and, redo all my Common App essays or, look at my college list again and actually realize that I was going into this and I wouldn't know where I was going till the end of March.
So what helped you get over that ED? Because you obviously ED'd because that's where you saw yourself go.
I think for a week, I cried a lot. I was very miserable in that I realized I had to do more work. Mm-hmm. And I was so ready to, let everything go and have my best time in second semester. Mm-hmm. I think I try to reassure myself that this wasn't the end of the world. And it wasn't. But I think I tried to give myself a lot of courage and say that I did not get, deferred or rejected because I was not qualified, but simply because I was not the best fit for the school. Mm-hmm. And I think thinking that way did help me a lot. And another thing I also realized is getting a rejection or deferral from one school does not mean you can't get into another school. Mm-hmm. And I realized that everyone eventually ends up where they should end up. Mm-hmm. So I think.
And did other people's results affect your own mindset in any way?
For sure. I think, there's early decision has 2 rounds. There's ED1 and ED2. And ED2 people usually get their results around mid-February. Mm-hmm. I didn't ED2 anywhere, so I was waiting for my things to come out in March. Mm-hmm. But I had some friends who did ED2s mm-hmm. and got in. And I think it was very conflicting because I found myself being so happy for them and congratulating them. But then at the back of my mind, I was also like, when am I going to know where I'm going? Mm-hmm. And I think the uncertainty that comes with it does make you feel very anxious. And I think I would always constantly doubt myself and, think stuff like, oh, everything I did in high school, it wasn't, it was worthless. It didn't do anything. I would say the wait till March was also very tiring, but I think it was less stressful than ED mm-hmm. results day, just because I think for RDs, people were more, less pretentious about, what college they were applying to. Uh-huh. And so, people didn't share as much. And so I felt like that was helpful in kind of keeping my self-esteem together.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. And would you say people were more supportive maybe in the RD round than the ED round, and why do you think that is?
For sure. I think for the ED round, because you are only capable of like early decision applying to one school because that's binding. I think there was a lot of competition in terms of people had to know who else was EDing there, you know. But for RDs, it's kind of like everyone is in the same pool. We're all intermingling. I think each of these schools pick more people in the regular decision round. And so I think people started to realize, including myself, that it doesn't really, the competition is not something that we should be worried about. It should just be us having the courage and having the confidence to get through the cycle. So I think that people were more encouraging for each other during the RD round, for sure.
And what's the perception you had of early decisions and like college, maybe even like times you were like judgmental of like our older seniors in the past, but you like realized something about that once you actually went through it?
I think this was something I did a lot even until junior year. I would judge people based on the college they were going to. If it wasn't, you know, a top 20 or some very amazing Ivy, I would kind of be like, oh, she's not as smart as I thought I was. I think my perception of that has changed a lot. My mindset definitely changed a lot. I realized that this whole college application thing is just so difficult. And every year it gets more difficult, especially for students here. And so I realized that, you know, even getting into one college, whether that may be, you know, the top 1 college or the top 100 college, the ranking does not matter. And the college that people end up committing to should not define who they are. And, you know, people shouldn't get treated differently because they are going to, you know, a school that's not as well known as other people's schools. And so I think I kind of realized that it is not right to treat someone differently because of the school they're going to. And my perception of that person should not change because of the school they're going to, if that makes sense.
What is one piece of advice you could give to a junior who's trying to decide where to ED and also how to deal with that ED?
There's mainly 2 choices. You could ED a school that you really think you have a chance in and hopefully get in and end it. Or some people also kind of think of not overshooting, but applying to a high reach. Maybe their dream school, but they, you know, stats-wise, they're not, you know, on the scale. So I think there are 2 choices in that, whether you actually want to end early or not. But I think, I don't know, I personally had a very good outcome with my regular decisions. So I am pretty much in favor of doing RDs. However, I think if you are feeling uncertain about, you know, the wait is very long and stressful. I would recommend applying to a school that you think you're pretty confident that you're going to get in. I think a disadvantage of that could be you end early and you commit to that school in December and you're always thinking, oh, what if I aimed higher? Or what if I applied to this school instead? Those doubts kind of may circulate. And so I think it's really up to, you know, the student. But I think as long as they have confidence and they have something they really like doing and they can showcase that on their application, I think that would probably lead to very good outcomes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Hayun, for our second episode, and stay tuned for the third one, The Waiting Room, December to March. See you next time on Senior Spills.